Boo. Welcome everybody back to a brand new video. Today is going to be getting a little dark. And by dark, what I mean is I want to talk about the top 5 creepiest characters I've ever experienced in games and what a lot of other people consider the scariest characters ever created in games. Now there's hundreds and hundreds of horror games out there today, and some of them are good, a lot of them suck. But there are a few that really stick with us, and today that's what we're going to talk about. So this is going to be the top 5 scariest video game characters ever. Number 1, in the video game Manhunt. Now before we even talk about Pigsy, we need to talk about the subject matter that Manhunt was a very controversial game during its time, because the game concept was you making snuff films, aka killing people on camera. But in this game there was a character named Pigsy, and Pigsy is a mentally retarded, pig-faced man that wields a chainsaw and is just completely devastating to anybody who comes across his path, and also he is extremely terrifying. Now Pigsy was technically the boss fight in Manhunt, and you really have to experience the game to understand how terrifying Pigsy actually was. Next, we're going to be talking about the game called The Suffering. The Suffering was a game that really didn't get a lot of traction in the gaming industry, but the game was about a death row inmate who was on death row for killing his wife. Now, the thing behind the story of this game was he really had no idea what happened, and he doesn't recall any of the incidents. And also, he killed his 2 children as well. That's nice to mention. I mean, let's bring the mood up here a little bit. But the game gets a little cheesy after the fact that he gets in prison, mainly because there was an earthquake that set off all of these monsters into the prison system. All of these monsters represented different types of corporate punishment. Now for me, the scariest one that I encountered in this game was the lethal injection monster. The lethal injection monster, there'll probably be a picture on the screen here, I'm terribly sorry, is a monster that actually had injection needles stuck all over his body and including his eyes. How lovely. Absolutely terrifying. Next, we're going to be talking about Left 4 Dead. In Left 4 Dead, there is a specific type of very ultra super zombies. These are the hunter, the boomer, the smoker, and the tank. And you can do a little bit of research on those, but the one that really terrified me to the core the most was the smoker. And just the scariest thing about him was the sounds that he made. He was always wheezing. He was always hard to get breaths in. It was weird because a lot of the times you just could not see him. And this made the sounds that they made even more terrifying than they actually were, because he would just sit in the corners and he would love to ambush you. Very terrifying. And of course, we do have to talk about Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2 in this next one. Now, Pyramid Head, I'm not going to get too deep. He is a very deep character. You could literally write 600 pages on Pyramid Head and barely scratch the surface of what he really was. But in a short sense, he is the emotions of James Sunderland. James Sunderland is the main character that you play as, and if you haven't played any of the Silent Hill games, it's kind of hard to explain, but you're technically in a very mindful world, so to say. But the character, based off of his emotions, would do things like kill members of his family, and just do all of these absolutely terrible things just to really get underneath his skin. And the monster would literally kill other monsters in Silent Hill because he was the alpha monster of all of them. Absolutely terrifying. And if you haven't experienced Silent Hill yet, you really need to play the game because it is one of the best games I have ever played. Horror games, that is. Finally, what I want to do here is I want to talk about a game called Final Frame, or even Project Zero. And this one really isn't that recognizable to a lot of people. It is a Japanese horror game, and I have played this game, and it's a simple concept. It's a haunted house, and the way for you to kill the monsters in this haunted house is to point your magical camera at them to kill them. Okay, and if you play this game in first person, it is so terrifying because it is so simple and brought back compared to all of these other really fancy horror games that it really gets under your skin quite a bit. And the most terrifying one in this game is absolutely the blind woman. The blind woman is a ghostly figure that had her eyes kind of stabbed out of her head with this object called the blinding mask. And the scariest thing about her is that because she's blind, she only reacts to sound, like your movement. And the fact that she actually will only react to your sound makes you even more on edge than you would be otherwise. Because of course you can really run away from any other monsters, but just knowing that when you start running, that's when it triggers her to come and chase you, kind of switches things in your brain a little bit. And that's what really made her the most terrifying one that I have ever experienced in a game. Well, you know what, guys? I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked the new set. I have a different audio setup and everything going on right now, but I hope you liked the video. Leave a like, leave a subscription. I hope I didn't scare you too much. I will see you guys later.